guys, Sam from the Footy Gods, to talk about today Adam Saad. Unique player. Not many teams would have this man in their back line, in 2% of teams actually, but last year he did a pretty good job for coaches that did back him in, averaging 103.1. So a bit of a breakout season for him. Went bang in the back half of the year. If we can see, from round 10 onwards, plenty of big numbers here. So really impressed with his output last year. Obviously helped by Sammy Doherty playing a bit more on the ball in the back end of the season, and I think helped out by Vossi's game plan off half back. He was sort of one of the main ball users off half back, and just had an outstanding year. I think he was All Australian as well, if I recall. So really good season for Adam Saad. Bit of a breakout year. So let's go through our formula like we always do and see if he is a good pick in our sides. So scoring pedigree. Does Adam Saad have a scoring pedigree? We'll look through his previous history. So he's been around for a while now. He's played 8 seasons in the league, and I mean, there's not really a huge scoring pedigree here. In the COVID year, he managed to get up to 97.9, but we can't really call this a scoring pedigree. There's not really any, apart from this one in the COVID year, not really many big standout games or seasons. So we'll give him a bit of a question mark there. Does he have the pedigree? Can he back it up? Scoring potential, however, last year, let's look through his scores. So 2022, can he go big? Let's have a look. So we'll go scores over sort of 120 to start with for him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 scores over 120. 1, 2, but only 2 scores over 130. So he gets a pass mark, but the scoring potential in terms of ceiling, he doesn't really have the 145s, 150 pluses in him, it looks like. He only passed 130 twice. So, yeah, maybe a slight question mark there. The scoring ceiling isn't massive with him. Consistency, however, is pretty solid. We'll look through his year here. A couple of scores, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So about 6 scores under 80. But overall, not too bad. Pretty consistent. He chalks up, sort of hundreds, 109s, 111s, 114s. So pretty consistent. We'll give him a tick there. Is he trending upwards? So yeah, I mean, you could argue he is. I mean, yeah, a bit of a down year in 2021. Only averaged the 82.6, but in terms of his career, he's trending upwards. His last 3 years have been well above his average earlier, and obviously last year he trended upwards quite nicely, so that's a tick. Age demographic, yep, 28, perfect. Not really a VC C option. With his scoring potential, I would stay away from him with that. We're not picking him for a VC or C option, so that's a negative there. Job security, yep, tick, that's fine. Injuries, I don't believe Saad. No, look at this, pretty reliable. He's played pretty much every game in the last 6 years, so big tick. That's a big positive in picking Adam Saad. You can pretty well rely on him to play every game for you. His role, yeah. So this is a bit of an interesting one. I mentioned before with Doherty playing a bit more in the midfield in the back half of last year. He did score pretty well. So. Personnel, who's back there? Who's back there in the back line? What does the back 6 structure look like? How does Vossi want to play it? Who's the main ball user? But if he does get that role as a ball user off half back, could be a tick. Could be a tick. So we'll have to keep an eye on that in the preseason games. Value. Look at his price. 567, 900. There's not a lot of value there. I don't think he can really improve drastically on this score. We've seen his ceiling. He's pretty consistent. May be able to improve his consistency slightly, but there's not a whole heap of value there. Minimal value. But he could be a keeper. So last season he finished as a top 7 forward. Top 7 defender with an average of 103.1. So yeah, yes, if the role suits, he will be a keeper. So that's fine. Team structure, yeah, he could fit into our team structure. He's not quite the top end primo price, so we could get a primo plus Adam Saad perhaps, and build our defense around that. That's fine. And risk reward. So this is a risky pick. Big risk because no one owns him. Basically, he's a real pod. 2% of teams. So there's a big risk with, yeah, not a huge. I think the risk outweighs the reward. Medium reward. I mean, you're getting rewarded with consistency and, you know, decent scoring. But I don't think, you know, the fact he's pretty highly priced with very low ownership, I think it's probably, yeah, a little bit too risky and not enough reward for me on this pick. Let's look at his fixture. So I think we looked through Carlton's fixture for Sammy Doherty. It's a bit hit and miss. So the first couple of weeks, pretty tough. Gets a bit easier and then tough. So not the greatest fixture. Yeah, we'll say 50-50, but, you know, I don't think that's really going to play a part in terms of whether we pick him or not. Taggers, no, I don't think he's getting tagged. Maybe, but I doubt it. Highly unlikely. Not enough for us to worry about it when picking him. History, owner history. Has he burnt you in the past? Hasn't burnt anyone with injury, but maybe coaches would have picked him in 2021 off the back of his 98 average, and then he went and delivered 82. So some owners could feel hard done by there. So maybe there's some history with you and Adam Saad, which will talk you out of it, which is completely fine. We mentioned his ownership, very low. Only 2% of coaches have him. So we're taking a big risk. If it fails, we're way behind the other 98% that don't. And then, of course, if it pays off, you know, it's a big win. But I think the fact that he has pretty, you know, maybe a question mark on his ceiling, a question mark on his pedigree, I don't think it's worth it taking a punt on him with that ownership. Carlton, yeah, team, they play a good brand of footy, so that's fine. And I don't think there's any other factors we have to think about when it comes to Adam Saad. I think a lot of it's got to do with the role. How do they plan on playing off half-back? And, yeah, that's about it. For me, I think we can do better. I think there's a lot better picks around this price. If we look at, you know, even Bailey Dale, I think is a better pick. Jordan Dawson for 40k more. Sammy Doherty, Tom Stewart for 40k more, or 35k more. Even Brayshaw for 16k cheaper, I think is a better option. So, you know, yes, we want a pod, 2% of teams, but I think we can look elsewhere when it comes to Adam Saad. The scoring potential, the ceiling, combined with just the unknown of how Carlton are going to play at the back line, I think we can avoid this pick. There's better options. But if you want to back your gut and go for a pod, had a good season last year, hopefully you can back it up for you. But I'll be staying away. Hope this helped. Let us know what else you want to hear. And as always, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.